Welcome to the Zoning Subcommittee of March 6th, 2023. All rise and salute the flag, please.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call of the members of the zoning subcommittee. Councilor Novoselsky. Here. Councilor Powers. Here. Councilor Silvestri.
Here.
Here. Councilor Visconti. Absent. Council President Keefe. Here. And Chairman Zambuto.
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. First item on the zoning subcommittee agenda, application of Geronaldo Nunez, 149 Cummins Highway, Rosendale, requesting a special permit from the Revere City Council with respect to no more than one principal non-residential structure may be allowed on a single lot to enable the appellant to install a shipping container on the property for the temporary storage of parcels at 297 Lee Burbank Highway. Chairman, it should be noted that Mr. Nunez did submit an email today requesting that the committee and city council allow to withdraw the application at this time.
Permission to withdraw without prejudice. All in favor, all opposed? So voted.
Next application is Shirley Avenue, LLC, 163 Shirley Ave, Revere, Mass., requesting a special permit from the Revere City Council to enable the appellant to raise the existing non-conforming structure and construct a brand-new 5-story mixed-use structure consisting of 2 commercial units on the first floor and 32 residential units on floors 2 through 5 at 163 Shirley Avenue.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be recusing myself from this vote
Okay.
because I'm in a butter, so there's an issue, but, you know,
got
I'll
it.
explain to everybody what I've gone through as a resident.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that, Madam Clerk. Now, he is recused. Attorney Simeoni.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Zoning Board of Zoning Subcommittee of the Revere City Council. This evening, I represent Shirley Avenue LLC of 163 Shirley Avenue. My law offices are at 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts, and my name is Attorney Lawrence Simeoni. This project has been working for a very long time. We did have a hearing on this in December, and it's taken an awful long time to get it right. And I think, Mr. Chairman, we've got it right. We have worked with Ward Councilman Novoselsky and other councilors to hear the issues raised by the tenants and by the neighbors, and we've done everything that we possibly can. I draw your attention to what the city clerk will hand out to you, which is the proposed decision and findings that are drafted on behalf of the applicant. And you'll see some 26 conditions to this particular special permit. Looking back at the project, it originally was a 5-story project, and now we've reduced that project to 4 stories. It'll have some recess on the top floor so that it will not go straight up. We'll have some type of flare, if you will. The first floor will be 2 commercial units in the proposed new building, and those units will be, I believe you'll see it's a cafe and a convenience store. Drawing your attention to the existing property, is located in the general business district. It sits on lot 83, which is 6,600 square feet in the general business district. It has 60 foot of frontage. It has a depth of 110 feet and was constructed in 1910. It has two stores and 3 residences in accordance with the assessor's records. The particular permit that we seek, Mr. Chairman, and members of the zoning subcommittee, is a special permit to raise an existing non-conforming structure and to create and reconstruct a new non-conforming structure. With respect to the existing building and its classification as a non-conforming structure, the particular building that's there now violates footnote Q of 1240.010, the dimensional requirements table. This particular structure does not meet the requirement of 20 feet in the front yard and 15 feet in the side as required by footnote Q. But it also does not meet the current requirements as far as in the general business district as well. It has also not complied with the frontage requirement in the GB district, which is 100 feet, and it does not comply with the minimum lot size of 10,000 square feet. And so those non-compliance render this structure a non-conforming structure under Massachusetts general law. The non-conforming structure has one basement and a first floor. They combine to make 8,940 square feet, which is a floor area ratio of 1.3. There is no off-street parking with respect to the existing building. What we're proposing and have submitted to the Madam Clerk and to your honorable body is the plans for a four-story building. The four-story building on the first floor will have 2 commercial units. As we said, it might be a convenience store and a cafe. On the remaining floors 2 through 4, they will be dedicated to residential units. There'll be 14 studios, and the studios range from 339 square feet plus or minus, and there'll be 10 one-bedrooms, and they range from 680 square feet plus or minus. The proposed new structure has a front yard of 1 foot and a side yard of 2 on one side, and I believe it's up to 4 on the right. And it does meet the rear yard requirement for residential abutters. There'll be a setback of 20 feet, which will be in compliance with footnote Q. The new particular structure will be 18,432 square feet. It'll have a height of 50 feet. It'll have a floor area ratio of 2.5. And will have open space of 29%. The existing basement of the new structure will be dedicated to storage, and there'll be 1 unit of 1,707 square feet and another unit of 1,536 square feet. So I have with me this evening Mr. David Barsky and Peter Blaisdell. Mr. Barsky is the architect of this particular proposal. Mr. Blaisdell is our civil engineer. And they're going to make a brief presentation, and also they'll draw your attention to a shadow study that was done because some of the neighbors had some concerns about the building itself casting a shadow on their yards. So what I'd like to take us back to, though, is I gave to the Madam Clerk the proposed findings and decision. So to give you an idea of some of the conditions that have been negotiated with the neighbors, one is we've talked about removing all existing large trees. We're going to have 1 window per unit on each floor on the rear side of the building in order to make it as private as we possibly can while meeting the building code. On the southerly side, we've agreed 47 DeHoan Street to put a new fence along with some bamboo trees. On the 4th floor only, the new building will extend the setback all around to 5 feet. There'll be a 10-foot-high solid fence that shall be installed with the material to be agreed to by the abutters, and I think they've identified that. And there's a variety of other these things, especially things like no fencing and so forth.
We got the conditions, and
I know you do.
I think we got to move along because we got a lot of things on the.
All right, well.
And you've got some presentations.
Yes,
that you
I
wanna
do. So I'd like to just.
We're in receipt of the conditions, and they will be read into the record.
Yeah,
So
well, they're part of it.
let's move on.
Very good. So, Mr. Blaisdell?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Members, how are you? For the record, my name is Peter Blaisdell. I'm a registered engineer and registered land surveyor with Williams and Sparagus, located at 189 North Main Street in Middleton. So I'll try not to be repetitive of Attorney Simeoni. So as, he's better at this than I am. So as everyone knows, the site is located on the south side of Shirley Avenue. It's located in the GB zone. We're bordered on the back by residents of the RB zone. The site area is approximately 6,600 square feet. There's an existing one-story building that's to be raised and a new four-story building to be constructed. We've been to site plan review. We've got a letter back from Mr. Stringy and an initial review from Nick Rystrom and I assume Don Shermella. So we're going to be putting in new utilities such as water, sewer, and drain. We'll be putting in, excuse me, there we go. We're going to try to make the site a little bit nicer for the neighbors, hopefully. And maybe I could just preface that a little bit too, that a lot of these changes came from us working with Councilman Novoselsky. So there's going to be some street plantings on the front on Shirley Avenue, screening in the back from the neighbors with 8 to 10 foot arborvitae, and originally we thought it was going to be a 6 to 8 foot fence. We were told it could be as tall as we wanted to, up to 10 feet. Sounds like the neighbors would like it as high as possible. Material still isn't entirely worked out yet. There's a couple things we may need to work out what the final material of the fence will be, but we're more than happy to accommodate. One of the other things that Mr. Novoselsky asked us to do is the neighbor behind his house on 155 Shirley, they asked if we could maybe help them out a little bit and clean it up, remove some debris, maybe help a little bit with some of the trash and that type of thing, make it a little better, repave it. We're willing to do that. There's some other improvements in the back of our property, especially next to the existing garage at the rear of Mr. Novoselsky's property. We're going to tie into that with a new retaining wall to hold the earth back. We're also going to, I think, work out a few more plantings with one of the neighbors here, but that's kind of a landscaping issue, but our applicant is very willing to do that to make everybody happy. So as discussed earlier, the new building will be a little bit bigger, not much. The impervious area is going to increase by a few hundred square feet, which is not unusual for Revere. So Mr. Rystrom asked us just to tie right into the drainage system and not have anything discharge onto the neighbors, which we said no problem. There will be a transformer in the front. I won't step on Architect Barsky's toes on that. There will be continuing gated access to the front that runs between the new building and the pharmacy, just for security and also for the security of the tenants that live in the building behind. New pavement, or it could possibly be pavers. Our applicant's going to work that out with the neighbor. Also, there'll be a pathway that goes to the back of the building for another access, as well as an emergency access, a trash access, so somebody can come up the side. I won't read all of Frank's comments in here, but it's pretty standard. New sidewalk, there's going to be inflow infiltration fee. There'll be, I believe it's the Transportation Demand Fund. Also working with T-Pass program. And just sewer and water connections need to be approved by the city. And with that, if you have any questions.
We trust Frank with his...
Yeah, they don't cut the comments short.
Right.
If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm going to sit down and...
Any committee members? Council McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to know, I know the person behind this building had a problem with people looking out into her yard and losing her, privacy. Can you tell me how many windows you're going to put in the back that are
I'm going to...
behind her?
I'll let the architect answer that one.
Okay, great,
okay.
thanks.
It is going to be reduced, but I'll let him tell you how.
And is she okay with this?
As far as I know, and I
Yes.
speak to the ward councilman, he's spoken to her, we've agreed, and one of the conditions you'll see is to have one window for each unit. There'll be 3 windows a floor, reducing it from, I believe it was like 5 or 6. And I understand that's acceptable.
Are those windows apartment windows, or are they just stairwell
No,
windows?
they're apartment windows.
apartment windows. Thank you.
Sir, if I may, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Council Powers.
So, I keep hearing 24 units, but you're including the commercial space? No, not in that. It's 26 units, then, correct?
Correct, 24 residential units and 2 commercial,
Okay, now how many of these are studios?
12.
12, because I heard somebody say 10 before. I thought I heard
Okay.
10, okay?
I'm sorry, last time I talked, it was half and half.
14 one-bedrooms, is that what we're talking about?
My apologies.
Please.
Madam Clerk.
The proposed decision provided to the zoning subcommittee reads as follows. The applicant is now requesting to modify a non-conforming structure in accordance with revised ordinances 1740-030A1 in order to reconstruct the existing non-conforming structure to construct a new 4-story mixed-use structure with 2 commercial units located on the first floor to provide a place of business for the existing uses. On floors 2 through 4, there shall be 24 residential units consisting of 12 studios and 12 one-bedrooms.
So to address that question that
I'm
Councilor
looking at
Powers is
that now,
asking.
12 and 12, and somebody just said 10.
I understand that, and I have told every member of the council it's 12 and 12, but unfortunately, my architect has a tight building to make, and he's informed me today that it's going to be 14 studios and 10 one-bedrooms. So I apologize for that, to anybody who was
No,
confused,
when I
but
see something and I hear
I
something
don't think
else.
anybody's going to have a problem with that.
Maybe I could elaborate.
go ahead.
There's 14 studios and 10 one-bedroom. So we're correcting the record here as we speak. And Mr. Barsky's going to give a quick presentation, I believe.
Good evening, everyone. David Barsky, architect of record for 161, 163 Shirley Ave, address 320 Nevada Street, Newton, Massachusetts. Let me clarify a couple of things. So we've been, as you've heard, been working very dynamically with Mr. Novchevsky and the influence of the neighbors, and have continued to make sort of adjustments. We had 12 and 12, but the neighbor requested that we pull the 4th story back to 4 feet further back than the 20 feet, so that the upper story was now 24 feet from the lot line. So when in the process of doing that at the last minute, we lost 2 bedrooms and converted what were two one-bedrooms into studios. So there's the reason. So that had to do with pulling it back.
That's fine with me. When I see different numbers and I hear different statements, I like to
Right,
question
no,
it.
if I could absolutely clarify it, we have 10 and 14, 10 ones and 14 studios.
Okay, that's cleared up now.
Okay, great. I'm going to cover a few quick points, and then I'll leave it to the floor. So this is really a continuation of a pattern on Shirley Ave with the studios and one-bedrooms, very similar in square footages and amenities to what's happening on a whole number of buildings. Real quick, you have two tenants which are occupying almost equal space on grade level, and they also have access to basement space. This is Shirley Ave, just real quick, you have the transformer over here. We have this ample walkway between the 2 buildings. There's about 8.5 feet total between the existing building and the new proposed building. So, and about 4 feet clear here where the trash will be brought out. Trash room over here, rear yard, and I'm just going to bring everyone's attention to the shadow study real quick. And, one of the other concerns always, and in this case the neighbor, was indeed how the shadows work on this. And it turns out that, I don't know how easily you can read this, but all of the shadows essentially are pushing towards Shirley Ave just because of the orientation of all the building. Coincidentally, so that's a good thing, because it means that at no time does this building cast shadows on any of the neighbors, pure and simple. And then I'm really open to questions. We can sort of give you a quick visual of what the building's looking like at the moment. No more ethos, brick, cementitious fiber material, and that's it. I would allow perhaps a client to use ethos in the rear, sometimes on the side, when they have a really large area to cover, but we're trying to get away from that.
Council Silvestri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And, Mr. Chairman, I just want to speak in favor of this motion. I see that they put some time in to address the concerns that we had as a committee, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate them going from 5 levels to 4. I can appreciate them for making the top level a little bit smaller and reduced in size. And the ward council is in favor, so I will be voting in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President Keith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I spoke to Council Novoselsky, who's been, always very in tune with this entire neighborhood, and I understand he's recused tonight, but speaking as a resident, showing that he's in favor makes a lot of sense. I did have a question of just really one, because the neighbors had some strong points that I think that you've mostly addressed, which is great. The trash area, was that something that everyone was satisfied with? That was something that, as we all know, we don't want to deal with that too often. So was that satisfied?
Yeah, that was pointed out. This is the rear elevation that was important to neighbors as well. So, we were able to reduce and still maintain a decent quality of light. So, grade level plan, Shirley Ave, access along this side to the trash room, which is at the rear of the building. So the barrels will just simply be rolled out, and that's an enclosed room.
Okay, so yeah, it's enclosed, right? Oh, perfect. Okay, great. That's what I wanted to make sure. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Council Visconti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too, it's great to see some compromise in this project. And last time they were here in front of us, we obviously had some people opposed of that, and I don't see that in the audience today. So it's great work from both ends to reach some common ground. So, and it is an upgrade to the building that's there right now. It continues the transformation of the Shirley Ave area, which is important. And that area has completely been transformed, and it's great to see the continuous development in that area the way it's going. So, and the fact that the ward councilor is in favor of it as well helps the project. So I believe I will be in favor of this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for listening to the neighborhood and doing the right thing. That's all I can say. And I just want to know, just off the record, is there any, I know, really, we're right in front of television. Are there any affordable apartment units in that building? I was just wondering.
Is there
Affordable? No. No, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Powers, you want another bite at the apple here?
I just want to make a comment.
Go ahead.
I'm certainly in favor of studio apartments. It lessens the impact on our school system tremendously if we have enough of those. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll make a brief comment here. I just want to mention that David Bosky has designed most of the new buildings on Shirley Ave. So he's been a leader in the revitalization of Shirley Ave, along with the developers, mostly Jamie Russo and his group. But it is transformed, maybe not enough, big enough word for what's happened down there. Completely revitalized that area. It's truly the gateway to Revere Beach now. And I give credit to my colleague, my ward councilor, Novoselsky, for all his, every single one of those buildings. Some might say he tortured the developer. Others would say he was very particular in what he wanted. So congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if I may just make a quick, I know you want to get out of here, but Ira Novoselsky, 53 Dearborn Street. I'm a direct abutter, and I am recusing myself from voting because I am the direct abutter, and they are doing work to enhance my property. So that's why I will not be voting on it. But I did, as a neighbor, I dealt with the other abutters, and especially the one that got up and spoke, you know, at the public hearing, and we made them happy, and that's one of the reasons that we set back the building another up to 4 feet, because they're trying to cut down the angle of the viewing of their property from this building. And the developer has allowed, in the site plan review, have allowed up to a 10-foot fence to cut down the angle of the site, and they're also putting arborvitae trees, about 10 of them, which will grow up to 12 or 13 feet, and even cut down the angle even more over a few years. So they seem to be happy with that, and as mentioned, they're gonna do some landscape in the back for the neighbors, and trying to accommodate even the side abutters. You know, that's an issue that has to be developed a little more. But we're ready to go with it. So thank you for all your help. I thank the architect and Councilor Simeoni for all their support.
Thank you, Counselor, and thank you. Yeah, it looks like you've set a precedent now that we're going to do work on neighbors' properties when we have a development. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm just making note of that we're setting a precedent here. There you go. Well, I don't know about High Street. There's nothing to develop up there, but less my own house, whatever. Okay, so anybody else have anything to say on this? Come up, sir. Name and address for the record.
My name is Stephen Canistero. I own the I live at 37 Hammersmith Drive in Saugus. I own the property next to this proposed project, 167 Shirley Ave. I'm just a little concerned, you know, I'm in favor of the project, but I'm a little concerned about the setbacks, that the traffic, because that alleyway is egress to a few of my apartments in that building, and I think it's sort of, if with an egress with a new building and then bringing trash in and out of the rear of the building, it might be a little too much traffic for.
You say bringing trash in and out. I think it's 1 day a week the trash will be coming in and out. Is that correct? Is trash going to be emptied more often? Okay, so can anybody speak to that? How often will the trash be picked up?
In my experience, a building like this, multiple days a week.
Twice a week, okay. So I think, you know, for what it's doing to the neighborhood, I think that might be a good sacrifice.
Okay.
I'm sure that.
It was just.
I think they said there's 4-foot clearance. That's a pretty big walkway. 6-foot clearance?
No.
Yeah, but there's 4 feet in the alleyway he's talking about. Yeah, 4 feet is a good, is a
But
wide.
that's on my property, 4 feet. I don't think there's 4 feet.
Okay, we're going to have to get some clarification here now. Mr. Bosky, or Mr. Simeoni, whoever wants to clarify this.
We knew that we owned access to the street in terms of being able to provide it, and that's why we have 4 feet from the lot line to our property, the property in question. And there's another, the existing building on the adjacent properties, about 4.5 feet. So you're looking at about 8.5 feet all told between the two buildings, 4 feet from the lot line to the wall of the proposed new building.
Okay, thank you. I still think that's enough space, sir. I think you'll be satisfied with what you get next to you now from what you've got now. At least I would if I was the owner of the adjacent property.
One could actually put a fence if there was a change.
Okay,
whatever.
all right, good, all good.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead,
is there-
Mr.
I'm sorry, is there a fence going down
Counselor.
that?
No.
Right now, it's wide open?
It's not, I believe that the understanding between the neighbors at the moment is to not include a fence at the moment.
Oh, so the neighbors didn't want a fence?
Yes.
Is that my understanding?
No fence. It hasn't been a fence there.
Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah, I believe we're ready to vote on this.
Shall the zoning subcommittee adopt the findings and decision as provided for by the attorney Larry Simeoni relative to 163 Shirley Avenue to be reported out favorably to the full city council? Councilor Novoselsky is recused. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Silvestri?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Keith?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Zambudo?
Yes,
Yes, the special permit has received a favorable recommendation.
thank you. Next item.
Next item is John Duran, 18 Hitchborn Street, Revere, Mass., requesting permission from the Revere City Council to convert the existing laundromat into a health club at 895 Broadway.
Name and address for the record. Press the button, please. Thank you.
My name is John Duran. I live in 18 Hisborn Street. We're looking at a special permit for 897 Broadway Avenue. So last time I was telling that it's going to be a gym, but most likely a gym is not open to the public. It's going to be private training classes for one people at a time per trainer, which is going to be around 3 trainers per hour. So that's why is no, I don't think it's going to be an impact for the community in respect of traffic or just people getting in and out, because it's not open to the public.
I think you made that clear last time you spoke, and I think
Yes.
most of us are familiar with it, and we'll see what some of my colleagues have to say. Councilor Cogliandro, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not on the subcommittee, so I appreciate the
It's
leeway.
okay, it's your ward, right?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I have spoke with the owner here, and basically, you know, the concern that Councilor Silvestri brought up was parking. Councilor Silvestri and myself both went through the site. There's parking for 10 cars, if I'm not mistaken. There's 8 in the back lot and 2 in the front,
Yes.
and you're going to keep the 2 in the front.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and also, as far as the traffic concerns of being able to fit 40 to 50 people in there, you're stating that you're going to be doing, at the most, group classes and one-on-one personal training, so that will help with traffic issues in the area. So there won't be 45 cars needing a parking spot
No,
at the
sir.
same time?
Not at all.
Okay, those are the only questions I had. Thank you.
I just have one question.
Councilor Silvestri.
Go ahead.
All right, we'll get you next. Councilor Silvestri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I walked the site this afternoon with the owner of the property. They have plenty of space inside. It's now been opened up. They removed a wall from in between, which was the laundromat. It will be circuit training. My angst about parking were I guess, put to rest, and she walked the site with me and showed me there is parking in the back and plenty of it. So again, I will be in favor of this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, when you say parking in the back, you're not referring to the RHA properties, are you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm having problem with the head. I'm sorry.
You're not referring to the Revere Housing Authority properties, are you? No, okay, that's the thing I wanted to clear up. Thank you. That's.
Council President Keith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, looking at this proposal you brought in front of us, you live in Revere, you bought a property, and you're going to open up a business. I mean, that's the American dream. and it's on Broadway. It's a commercial area. This use is less detrimental to the neighborhood than a laundromat, unless you're going to have some loud screaming and yelling when it comes to the fitness training, which maybe that's a good thing. You'll be doing your job. But this is a great use. It's on Broadway. It's a commercial area. I can't think of anything that could go wrong there. So you're going to have my support tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else?
That's my ward now.
Okay, I'm certainly in favor of this, and I wish you the best of luck. Madam Clerk.
Shall the zoning subcommittee provide a favorable recommendation for the special permit to allow the applicant to convert the existing laundromat into a health club at 895 Broadway, subject to site plan review? Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Silvestri?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes, this special permit has received a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Next application is that of Michael A. Casoli, trustee of Mac Realty Trust, 28 Sweetser Street, Wakefield, Mass., seeking permission from the Revere City Council to reconstruct and extend a nonconforming use and pre-existing nonconforming structure that burnt down in a fire in May of '21 for the purpose of constructing a new 6-unit residential building with 6 off-street parking spaces at 141-143 Endicott Avenue.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Nancy O'Neill, and I am an attorney located at 14 Proctor Avenue. I am here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Michael Casoli, trustee of the MAC Realty Trust. I am joined here tonight by Mr. Casoli, as well as the project engineer and architect. As discussed previously, we are seeking a special permit for the reconstruction and extension of the pre-existing non-conforming structure at 141 to 143 Endicott Avenue, which was destroyed by a fire in 2021. That structure was a 6-unit, 4-story apartment building, approximately 35 feet in height. As that building was a protected non-conforming structure, it can be rebuilt as of right. What we are requesting here tonight is to alter or extend that structure to provide ground floor parking. Since the last time we appeared before the council, we have consulted with neighbors and Ward Councilor McKenna. And as a result of these discussions, a roof deck is no longer planned for the top of the building. The main difference between the previous building, which you can see here, and the proposed building, which we also have an image of, is the provision of the parking spaces on the ground floor. Thank you, Jim. The previous building had 4 stories of residential space. We are proposing 4 residential stories and 1 story for parking, which will be the ground floor. It is the addition of the parking spaces that has changed the width and depth of the building. So we've gotten a few questions on this, so I'd like to explain. I have an image of the proposed building here. So as there are 6 units in the proposed building, 6 parking spaces are being planned, which you can see. So under the Revere ordinances, the enclosed parking spaces must be a certain size, 8.5 feet by 17 feet. As you can see, all of these spaces here are 8.5 by 17. And also per the ordinances, a parking aisle for 90-degree parking, which is the type of parking that we have here, must be 22 feet for a 2-way aisle. And this aisle here is 22 feet. And in the back portion of this ground floor, we have the elevator access and a stairway, which we'd like to keep for safety reasons. So accordingly, this building footprint cannot be reduced without reducing the number of parking spaces, which we are seeking to get a 1-to-1 ratio here. So this building, compared to the previous building, it's about 5 feet narrower, but due to the parking spaces, it's slightly longer. The building is also about 8 feet taller due to the presence of this parking story. The unit count and the number of residential units is the same. The building square footage of the previous building is it's not available, but the buildings are roughly the same size. This building is about 11,000 square feet in the residential. The previous building contained 6 units, which were all 2 beds. This building would contain 6 units with 2 2-beds and 4 3-beds. It's roughly 2 units per floor, The first floor would contain the 2 two-bed units. These units will be ADA accessible with the elevator. They are roughly 1,000 square feet. The 4 upper floor units would be 3 beds, and these will be roughly 1,900 square feet each. So we are not talking about a major alteration to this building with 5 or more units. We're really talking about the addition of the parking and the effects of adding the parking on the depth of the building. So we are looking to reduce congestion in this neighborhood and put parking back on the lot. And this building will provide a significant benefit to the community. As I mentioned, we are going to restore parking, and we are also going to provide home ownership opportunities, which I would also like to explain, as we've gotten questions on this. So this building will be converted from apartments to condos. 2 of these condos will be the ADA units, and the property will be owned by 6 individual property owners and managed by a condo association. So this will not be like a transient apartment use. We are talking about the 6 individual owners. And the property will feature a new stormwater system, which I'd also like to clarify, as we had received questions on this. The new system will capture some of the runoff off of this hill, and it will feature 2 500-gallon dry wells. And the building, as new construction, will also comply with modern code requirements. So overall, this proposed building represents a significant improvement over both the previous building and the current vacant lot. The changes to the building discussed tonight relate to the provision of the 6 parking spaces for the 6 units in compliance with the parking space dimensions. So in summary, this will be a beautiful modern building that will lessen congestion, provide home ownership opportunities, contain a new stormwater management system, and comply with modern code requirements. And for these reasons, we respectfully request that the special permit is granted. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, I just want to know how much longer, I know it's going to be narrower this way, but how much longer in the back is it going to be?
It will be about 8 feet further from.
8
the
feet?
Road, 8 feet.
Okay, and it's going to be 8 feet higher, right?
Right, 8 feet higher.
So it's going to be 8 feet coming out?
Right, about this way it'll be 8 feet, and then it'll be about 5 feet narrower this way.
Okay, so there's going to be 5 feet between each property?
I believe it's 5 feet total. It might be 3.5 on one
There's
side.
at least 5 feet on one
Oh,
side,
I apologize.
and we have 3.5 on our own lot on the other side. So
Right, I'm sorry. It'll be about, we're going to have 5 feet on one side and 3.5 feet on the other side.
And could you tell me what the original footage was before this burnt down?
It was probably more like, excuse me, Jim Zegos with the MZO Group in Stoneham.
Hi.
Hi, the existing was probably more like 4.5 feet and 2 feet. It was really, really tight.
The existing square footage.
The existing square foot, I don't really know, the building burnt, and I just don't know what the.
You don't know what the footage was on each side?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. On one side, I think it was down about 4 feet, and the other side was more like 2 feet.
2
It was
feet
wider.
and 4 feet. That's not, the 2 feet, I mean, that's like touching Ira, you know?
Yeah, if you look at the,
Sorry.
if we could dig up a assessor's map, you'd see that it's.
That's awful close to, the biggest thing in Beechmont is that the houses are on top of each other, and the reason why, when this burnt down, it took 6 houses with it, because all the houses are so close together. I might have a problem with 2 feet in,
No, I think you're misunderstanding. We've increased the distance from lot line to building on both sides compared to the previous building.
okay, so,
We are now going to provide 5 feet on one side, where that had probably been about 4 and change. And on the other side, we're providing 3.5 feet, where previously, I don't know if it was even 2 feet.
so you're saying more?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I have no problem with the parking. I think the parking is great. I think the condos are great. I think it would be great for the community to have condos and not apartments. I just want to stipulate that I do not want to see condos become apartments. And I think we have an ordinance in that, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. President. Is there an ordinance that we can't change condos into apartments? No? Okay, so we'll have to make that. The other stipulation I would like to see
Can we
is
make
it
it a
doesn't,
special permit?
if a person buys the condo, I don't want them to rent it. So I'd like that on the books, that they can't rent the condo.
I'm sorry, if I could just comment.
Sure.
I don't believe that we can restrict the future owners from renting, but, I mean, the ownership of this building will be converted. It'll be a condo association. It'll be the 6 individual property owners with the condo association as the management body. So they'll provide rules like a landlord would, which would be the same, like to regulate the building, no smoking, no grilling, things like that. But it's going to be complete new ownership with the 6 individuals. But I don't think we can restrict them from renting their units.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Silvestri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm glad to hear that the ward councilor is on board, and a big piece for me here is having the residential owned. Just a quick point of information, I do own a condo on Revere Beach Parkway, and within our association, it's 2 years ownership before you can rent outside, so maybe we can talk to someone about doing something like that. But I think having ownership helps with a lot with the issues that were placed prior.
I agree with the ownership part. Unfortunately, we can't restrict, we can't make the condo rules. Council President Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Typically, condo associations have percentage requirements based on how many owner-occupied units have to be, and then typically financing relates to what the use is going to be, if it's an investment property or if it's going to be for home ownership. So most people buying a condo for the first time, a lot of them are first-time home buyers, or they're downsizing, aren't going to be able to get a commitment from a bank with it being an investment. I'm sure Councilor Visconti would probably agree. But ultimately, the building looks beautiful. I mean, it looks beautiful. I'm sure it'll be a great attribute to the neighborhood. I know the neighborhood. It is a really, it's got, great views. Hopefully the neighborhood has gotten exactly what they want in this. I think typically something like this would have come in front of us and it really would have been an easy choice for all of us. But the relationship building by the current owner has not been very good. I don't know him. I don't really know the neighbors directly, but the responses from the last meeting were not great relationship building. And I would just say for people out there, they have to realize that when you're living in a neighborhood, or you own an apartment complex, or if you own a lot of property, you have to take care of that, because down the road comes something like this, a beautiful proposition to the neighborhood. Parking, it's going to add value. You're going to create home ownership. You're not going to have to deal with people that are transient tenants that are coming and going and not respecting the neighborhood. And all of these are positives, what you have here, but then there was a lot of opposition last meeting because of the relationship, because of the way that the prior owner handled his business. So I guess I would just say it should be lesson learned for future developers and future residents of the city, that when they own a property, if you do the right thing, your neighbors will do the right thing back for you. So I just want to make that point. I will be in support of this. I'm glad that it seems like they came to, again, a compromise here. The property, the specifications of the building look gorgeous, and it's going to probably be really great on Endicott. A lot of young professionals moving over there. I would live in a condominium like that if I was a single or a young couple. So I wish them luck, but I just hope that during the building process, they respect the neighborhood very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Councilor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be supporting this evening for a couple of reasons. First of all, I believe that the ward councilor has done the work necessary to bring everybody on board and make this a pleasing proposal for the neighborhood. We get, in a condo, we get more tax revenue, slightly more, but more. Okay. Also, she's addressed the parking problem, and particularly with a condo, when you have a condo association, you have a designee that you can knock on their door, give them a call if there's a problem in the building, and you have a right-on-hands approach situation where it can be addressed quickly. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Powers. Councilor Visconti.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's great to see that there's been some compromise here as well. I believe the rooftop was originally suggested, and that's been taken away. I'm not sure if there's anybody in the audience that opposes this any longer. But in fact, the fact that there was a 6-unit building there, correct me if I'm wrong. The reason it's going up is because of the parking, which obviously is an issue in that area as well. So, and the fact that it's condos is something that I would rather see than apartments, due to the fact that of the problems the previous, or the current owner, has created in the area. So I understand there has been some concerns from some tenants, I should say some neighbors, and I'm happy to listen to them as well. But I want to thank Councilor McKenna for working through this project as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, name and address for the record.
Laura Ross, currently 21 Nevada Street, Winthrop, Massachusetts. I abut 141, 143 Endicott Ave at 149. I'm so happy that I came to this meeting tonight. And actually, I'm happy that I had to wait until hearing about the lovely development on Shirley Ave, because the process that seemed to have happened with the development on Shirley Ave from an outside developer coming into the city was beautiful. I'm hearing them compromise. The neighbors didn't like this. Conversations with the neighbors, talking how they can help the neighborhood. No one has been reached out to in my neighborhood. There's been no meeting about it. There's been no developer coming and saying what would be nice in this neighborhood. I was here last week, I'm here again. I since have talked to 7 to 8 neighbors who did not know about the meeting last week, who are not happy with it being a large development, who have said that they don't want the space taken up. And I'm also glad because I'm blown away by the size of this building on the lot. I'm happy to hear that the rooftop deck was taken off. And again, no one had a conversation with me. I was called by D'Ambrosia and told, so you did well at the meeting. I wasn't there, but the rooftop top deck is gone. I was told you can either have condos or 6 apartment buildings with no parking. Is that how you treat the abutter who lost everything? I'm mind blown by the size of this. Mind blown. How am I going to get insurance on my house with it that close to the property line? And I also have questions because I was told by D'Ambrosia, but he didn't need any variances. He's building in a non-conforming site. So do we get to pick and choose what is non-conforming? Or is there just like the zoning says this is non-conforming? I guess you have questions about the zoning. I don't understand about the zoning. Do you get to pick and choose what's going to conform and not conform? Either it's all non-conforming or some of it is. Is there a zoning law that speaks to that? That's a question I have. This public hearing, why are we having a public hearing if he's not requesting a variance? Is this a request for a variance or not?
This is a special permit.
So what does a special permit mean? Why does he need a special permit
Well,
if he's
in this
non-conforming?
instance, it's for the parking, I believe.
Because he's going to go up higher?
It's non-conforming, so once the building burnt down, he needs.
So he can even go more non-conforming? Did anybody offer to do a shade study on my property? Because he's now 8 foot higher
Okay,
and 8
let's-
feet back.
We're not going to be able to answer these questions
So
tonight.
what do I have as a recourse? I'm asking the council.
Council President, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go-
I was
Council-
under the impression there has been an agreement with the neighbors and they have been informed.
There's
So
been no meeting.
If they haven't been contacted and nobody's reached out to them, there's still some questions that have to be answered. And I ask that this get tabled until some questions be answered. And
No debate, table.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
If I could just add, we have been in contact with the neighbors, and we have spoken to them, but
You got a little more work to do. It's on the table for the next meeting. Thank you. No further business of the zoning subcommittee. Thank you all.